select ride.
Alright guys, here we are. We are back at Mosites Motorsports. We are jumping on a Triumph Scrambler XC. This one is not as tall, somewhat of a leather seat, maybe pleather of some kind. Key stays in there so you don't have to do nothing. Super cool dash. Yeah, I'm glad I didn't ride the taller one. This one is very, very tall actually, for not being a taller one.
You're gonna have such a damn good time. Try to hit bumps on this because it just soaks small.
Sounds good. You heard that from the man Sean right there. I heard it straight from the guy. You heard it straight from him. Soaking up bumps on this thing. We're gonna do it. We're gonna soak some bumps up. I'm loving this little dash. It's got some character to it. Let's see what this menu is about. Riding modes. Let's jump in there. Rider, rain, road, sport. Okay, so you can see it's got a nice little menu here. One toggle button for everything. Bike setup button, traction control, indicator, service. Back here, got a nice gas gauge there. You can change your riding modes. I do have cruise control on this machine. Pretty cool indeed. Otherwise, I'm loving the dash. Sitting pretty comfortable. I'm actually sitting really comfortable for what it is. We got there a nice Honda African Twin. Overall, I'm really liking this machine. Super cool feel in the low range. Obviously, factory mirrors are just never, you know, they're really never going to be something decent, honestly. They're always going to be factory mirrors. No quick shifting, no quick shifting at all of any kind on this, nor up nor down. So, you know, you're really getting that real motorcycle ride. Awfully quiet, but to be expected. So I'm about 5'9" and no riding boots on, and we're doing some good tippy tone here. Very smooth transmission, nice and nice and smooth. Otherwise, there's another model here. It's a different paint scheme on it. Okay, now we're in sport mode. Sounds pretty good. Sounds pretty good indeed. These big dual pipes out the one side. Doesn't sound that bad either for 2-3 grand. Well, the build quality is pretty sweet. Ride's pretty awesome. Something different to check out from the Triumph selection. And I may just ride the taller one today to try and give you a real comparison as to what the difference is between these two machines. The XC and the other model, I'm not sure what it's called, but it is taller for some reason. Brembo master cylinder. A good gas gauge over there on the left. Can't complain about that. Yeah, for a you know, not so sporty looking bike, this thing can jig. Gears are just set up so different. The power is just delivered so smooth. handling feels exceptional. I was expecting it to handle more bicycle-like. We're in the group. There goes the East Police, East McKeesport Police, tagging in along on the ride, seeing what we're getting into here on these machines. They have no care. Obviously, they know that this is a escorted ride. This is a ride through a dealership. I'm sure they've already been notified. Obviously, I assume in 5th and 6th gear, this bike probably has a load of power just based on what I've dealt with so far in the low RPM of the lower gears. There's like no need to shift either. It seems like the engine's barely even working hard at all. It's not even trying. 3rd gear is the sweet spot on this Scrambler XC. I don't see any need to shift out of 3rd gear at all. Really, there's no reason. Massive power. Massive. Exceptional transmission. Bike is a bit too quiet for a stock motorcycle, however. It needs some kind of grumble in the engine. Let's see if we can get a nice little pull here for you guys. Second. Yeah, this thing can jig for a not what it's, you know, I mean, it's a lot of CCs, but you know, Harley's proven that not a lot of CCs, you know, doesn't always equate to fast, but this thing is exceptionally quick for not being a sport bike of any kind. Odometer reading, really loving that clear as day gas gauge. It's you know, very thorough. Switching modes on the left, you can change the modes within the modes, adjusting the traction control or the rider aids. And there we go. A little clunky on transmission there, but probably could have been doing smooth downshifts. In the RPM range, bumping neutral very nicely, very nicely, very nicely indeed. Overall, this thing's just got some premium components, and I like how it rides. This leather seat I'll cover a little more when I get off. Not sure if that's factory or an add-on, but on these bicycle mirrors, this thing's pretty cool. Eliminate the mirrors. Maybe eliminate those turn signals, get some new turn signals. Otherwise, this thing's sweet. Maybe a new gas cap, a little more style to it. Otherwise, this thing's pretty sweet. Overall, this thing's sweet. I'm interested. It has an off-road traction control setting, or mode. I think we are going to turn that on before we end the ride here with you guys, but I'm not sure we're going to get to use it in its proper fashion, as I'd really truly like to. However, this may have to be a machine in the future I look into with an off-road mode. I'm very curious what that is, what that entails. First gear hit for you. Yes, sir. Fun. That's what it is. It's fun, for sure. I guess the key just stays in there, or I'm not sure if you can use it as a key fob. I'm assuming the way it looks that that's a key fob. $397 miles on it. Just gonna cross 400 on this demo ride here today through Mosites Motorsports with inventory from Triumph Motorcycles. Key fob out of range, but the key fob's right here. Check manual, key fob out of range. Interesting. The key fob is visibly right here. You just reset that and that goes away. No complaints there. Not sure why it did that. Very interesting. We're going to gonna do one of these. Click up into 6th gear, 2 grand, 30, 40 miles an hour. Little clunky out of that gear there, a little low RPM for it. 5th gear, ooh yeah, it does soak up the bumps though. 5th gear, 3 grand. It's just how the motor sounds. Yeah, he's right. This thing does. It swallows bumps up. Nice 3rd gear power. Real nice. Fourth gear got some great pull in the mid RPM when it starts delivering the power to you. Yes, sir. 80 miles an hour. This thing in 4th gear is really ripping. Swift with a ton of power left to go. We shift up into 6th gear, 4 grand, 70 miles an hour. Ours are a bit shaky. Getting the vibration in the bars, you can see it. But I do like the way the power is delivered. Mirrors are working exceptionally well, even though they're ugly. We'd be lucky to get a 1st gear hit, but yes, sir, this thing can jig. Turn it into off-road mode. See if we can feel a difference here. Great maneuverability. Miles on this machine in off-road mode. We're seeing what if we can feel any difference, if any at all. I mean, but the torque is immense on this bike. I'm gonna have to check the power specs for myself, truthfully, because at about 4 grand in 3rd gear, I'm gonna guess this thing's making some pretty decent power. Gotta be at least 80-90 horsepower, I would think. Now there's some heat coming from this heat shield on my right leg, which I'll briefly cover in a minute. I'm gonna guess that if you put an exhaust on this machine, heat may become a bit of an issue. And I'm seeing that it doesn't look like we can get out of off-road mode now that we're in it and we're on the road. Seems we're gonna have to be up. Nope, we cannot. At least how it seems. We cannot change from this mode now that we're moving. If you enter off-road mode on a Triumph Scrambler XC and begin your travels, you can no longer get out of it until you return to a stop. So your traction control will remain off, and you will remain in off-road mode. This machine has cruise control, braided lines, as you should be able to see. I'm wondering if off-road mode doesn't take the power and displace it a bit. We're gonna get out of off-road mode and get back into sport. Well, I stalled out the Scrambler, changing modes. I'm trying to get out of that off-road mode there. Assuming I ever get one of these for a day, I'll make sure to put the off-road mode to better use. However, I'm curious as to why it locks you out when you put it in off-road mode. Every other mode on this motorcycle is changeable while on the move, except off-road mode. I'm hoping it'll show up on camera here, because I'll claim a stall when it's righteous. But every other mode, rider, street, road, rain, you can change from on the fly. I can enter rain mode just by closing the throttle and inputting the action. So far, it hasn't seemed as though I've had to be at a stop. So put it back in sport mode. And it keeps saying that the key fob's out of range. It's a very strange interaction. Otherwise, guys, this machine's pretty cool. Super nice. It's got everything you could want, you know, everything on the dash you need to see, really. We're gonna try this crossover again. It said something about closing the throttle, which is how it is on my H2, to close the throttle to change modes. I may just try to hover over it, select it, close throttle. You know, so you can change every other mode except off-road on the fly. Oh, yes! Eating that up. Ah! Yes, sir. Yeah, off-road, you can get carried away on this thing. Yes, sir. That Ulan suspension is eating it up. Man, yes, sir. Yes, sir. He wasn't kidding. Those are big holes, guys. This thing just right through them. Recap, great power. Great delivery on the power. That's probably my favorite part. The dash is great, especially for a model like this. You have loads of different rider modes and different ways to change them. You can go within the rider mode and change the map, the traction control, and the ABS on each different mode, whether it's road, sport, off-road. However, if you change to off-road and you get moving, you cannot change out of off-road mode until you come back to a stop. Not a problem, just an observation. Triumph Scrambler XC. And we're down here at Mosites Motorsports having a good time. I hope you guys enjoy the other first rides I get out of this day and the following day. And until next time, guys, select ride or race. I hope you enjoy these videos. I hope you enjoy the new ones to come. Stay safe out there riding, guys. Stay safe out there on the streets. Until next time, select ride or race. Definitely slightly taller. So this is the same machine with no mirrors. This is a Triumph Scrambler XE. So everything is the same, except it's a little higher. So now I am most certainly on my tippy toes. Until next time, make sure you go to Mosites Motorsports if you're looking for a new machine. Maneuverability is nice. Very nice indeed. Like I said, eliminated those mirrors. which was something I complained about on the other one. The same dash. I'm gonna assume the power is probably the same. The little edge guards here when you're off-roading. Different paint scheme. Same suspension setup. No mirrors, and it is a bit taller. So really the difference between these two is just gonna be a bit of height. A very small bit of height. Are going to try and activate the cruise control at some point here. Trying to turn that cruise control off there. Whoa, is that crazy? That's awesome. Can't complain about that, especially if you're gonna be doing some mild highway rolling. I'm loving the cruise control. The cruise control is super sweet. Don't get to use it very much. And when I do, usually I don't know how, because most bikes are some formulae of turning the cruise control on. It's not just a basic flick of a button. But this Triumph XE, and I'm sure the cruise control works just as good as on the other model. The cruise control is awesome. Female riders on this demo day today through Mosites Motorsports. Everybody on some Triumph motorcycles, having a good time. Otherwise, guys, I'm not going to bore you too much with this Triumph.